car at all. Right. So it's a fake limiter, right? It's not going to 7,000 RPM. The engine will go to 21,000 RPM.
It's just another whole level of getting used to stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm also not used to the fact that it's not burning any or electricity either because we're not doing anything.
Right, yeah.
We're just playing with screens at the moment.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. You can change the HUD from normal to sport. If you look at the sport, it just changes. Now it just shows you the torque instead of the nav stuff. It shows you the power output rather than regular. So there's a dizzying array of stuff that you can change. You can change the suspension on the fly. I prefer to normal because like suspension in Sport or Sport Plus, it's really rigid. It invents the bumps. Like it does. This is your limited slip.
Normal's a good sport mode and everything beyond that.
Exactly. Limited slip differential, normal, sport, or Sport Plus. I haven't even really played with that, so I'm not sure what what that is. Steering I like in Sport Plus because it's more. It's a little harder to turn the steering wheel, but it's more precise. If you go in normal, then it's just normal, and you can just start with a fingertip and move it around.
It's where we were talking about the electric cars feeling soulless.
Yeah.
Right? It just disconnects everything, and it's just easy, and there's no feedback.
Yeah, you got it.
Right.
Your stability control here, and your stability and traction control is here in Sport, or you can turn it off. I don't turn it off because it's smarter than I am.
I agree.
And I don't want it to swap ends. You've got your G-force meter here, which is you can access all of this stuff in your center console by using this little scroll wheel, which we could do later on. This is your audio system, basically your volume and your skip track and all that shit. And over there are your different pages and modes. And this is your lane keeping assistant here, and then that's your smart cruise control there. And then this is the distance that you want to follow where the car is at on a scale of 1 to 4. You know where you want to go. Even close isn't that close, which is good. Even close is safe.
If every car had this, imagine how many less fender benders there'd be.
Absolutely, yes. And it's got all of the radar and shit. So like, it's got the cross traffic alert, it's got the backup cam alert, like it's got the it'll alert you if your passengers want to get out of the car and there's traffic coming. It won't open the door until it's safe. Like it's a little G meter here, which is hilarious. And launch control is it's just like launch mode in the Tesla. So when you activate it, you put your left foot on the brake, you put your right foot stomp on the accelerator, and then let go of the brake, and then it goes like
your soul and puts you in the back seat.
It puts, again, it's slightly fast. I got this at 0 to 100 in 3.0. So that's but where it also really excels is between 100 and 200. It just goes, like the acceleration doesn't stop. Which is kind of cool. More performance options here. So battery preconditioning here. We can precondition the battery for drag or track. Drag heats it up warmer, 30 to 40 degrees. Track is like 20 to 30 degrees, and that gives you longer before the battery gets hot, and it lets you maintain power for longer, etc. Here's your little stopwatch. You can also, this is where you can get your 0 to 100 time, or you can get 0 to 9. You just dial it in, and then it does all the timing for you.
Only in Mexico.
All that stuff. Right, there you go. You can have the gauge on here that shows your acceleration. You can have dual gauges if you want. Acceleration versus battery temperature or versus motor temperature, blah, blah, blah. See, like over there, it's got the temperature of the front and rear motors and the battery there as well. So you can have those on here if you want. Again, it's kind of overkill. These are the different tracks that it knows about, where you can do lap timers and stuff, and it tells you all
the National Corvette Museum. That's excellent.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it gives you the various routes.
How many hearts you'd heard at the Corvette Museum?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll be very easy to get banned from the drag strip track here, because it will do the same all the time as well.
And you don't have a roll cage.
Right. And all that. So here's our end launch control. You can set the road grip level if you think it's going to be icy or whatever. We keep it on. I wouldn't launch it if the roads weren't bare and dry anyways. But on high, it pre-torques the motors and the wheels, just like in Tesla launch mode. So again, there's just a ton of different things that you could play with here. Now, E-Shift is your paddle shifters, and so when you're driving, it'll show you in first gear, second gear, third, up to 8 gears. These are your paddles back here. There, and over on that side, and
So
and
cool.
when you drive it, you'll see it should be it's fun, and that's why it exists, is just for fun. There's no real practical aspect to it. If you're gonna try to if you're on the drag strip, it's faster to have it be a no speed and just let the computer do all the work. But it's so damn fun to shift the gears,
especially road course.
Exactly.
To
yes.
downshift the gears coming into the corners.
It gives you a better idea of how the car is doing. It really lets you connect more with the car than without. Active sound, we've already talked about our 3 different. Hyundai's coming out with 10 more sounds as well, because it's over-the-air update, wireless update, all that.
That's just so cool.
There, so why not, right? This is their standard. This is Hyundai Elantra N that they sampled the sound from. This is from whatever race car that Hyundai has, like whatever Formula 1 car they run. They've sampled the sound from this. It's supersonic. They just made it up. And did it. But again, it has a practical aspect. The sounds, I'm hoping that they can improve them a little, because it's not the most realistic sound yet. But this is V1.0 as well, and I'm sure that I bet you there's going to be third-party suppliers as well, where you'll be able to pay $20 and download new engine sounds as well.
And they'll tweak the fade and the balance, and they'll get it just right, where you won't know any difference between.
Exactly, yes. And you'll see when you drive it using the paddle shifters, the sounds, it's a real complete package. Like it makes it much more convincing when you're shifting on there. Other stuff here. Well, that's N mode. How do I go back? I go back one page. And battery, we already talked about drag mode or track mode. We can heat the battery, and it'll use a few percent. It heats at about 5 kilowatts. Well, if I go to drag mode, so it'll be 25 minutes, and it'll heat it from whatever we're at 22 degrees. It'll heat it up to 30 degrees or 30 to 40 degrees, and that way, for short bursts, you're gonna get everything. Now, this little button here, NGB. It's stupid. The phrase is stupid. N-Grin Boost is what it is. They were, whoever named these things is just silly, because it has corner rascal technology. But N-Grin Boost for 10 seconds gives you 640 horse instead of 600. Then you have to wait 10 seconds for it to cool down, and then you can use it again. And a little timer comes here. You press NGB, and the little timer goes. It might even pop up now. No, okay, right, because we're not driving right now, so that kind of makes sense to me. But when you're driving, you press on that, and a little timer goes. It counts 10, 9, 8, and for those 10 seconds, you've got the full output of it. And again, this will do 0 to 103 seconds. So by 10 seconds, you're well into illegal territory if you're not on the racetrack already. And if you're on the racetrack, you're having a hell of a great time. That's what that's for. It's only 40 extra horsepower, but so I'm not sure why they even really did it. It's only a few percent more power, from 600 to 640. It's not even 10% more, but it's still kind of cool.
The horsepower of my truck. So I'm just saying, it's not just 40 horsepower. We can't down 40 horse.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
I'm triggered.
To diss it. This will show you the pressure on the brake pedal. So if you press the brakes right now, it'll show you from 0 to C. It shows you that, which I guess can come in handy. Well, also if you're doing the 2 foot, like if you're braking and if you've got your left foot on the brakes at the same time as you have your right foot while driving, that's the 2 foot braking technique, or whatever the hell the race driver. I don't mess with that. Again, I use this to get groceries so fast.
And get through the parking lot like nobody's ever seen you, because they've never seen you.
But we go back, like, it's got all the standard EV stuff as well, if we're not worrying about N mode. So here's our battery, blah, blah, blah. They rate this for 356 kilometers, so you take a huge hit on range. The normal IONIQ 5 is about 488.
Okay.
But if you drive this normally, you're over 400 clicks normally. But who the hell wants to drive this car normally? That's not what this car is for. This car is a toy, and it's meant to drive safely, but with
legal
some vigor.
Road requirements.
Absolutely, yes, but while enjoying yourself. And like, if you're first at the lights, it's not illegal to accelerate up to the speed limit and giggle like a schoolgirl for that 1.5 seconds that it takes to do so. More charts. This shows you the electricity that's using right now, and that changes as as we drive. So right now, 26% climate, other electrons. drivetrain zero because we're not driving, but normally when we drive, the drivetrain's using, most of the electricity there. You can set your various charging settings, so to tell it to charge, at this time of day, blah, 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 all that.
Right.
Now, vehicle to load is kind of cool. It's actually back here. There's two things. So one is between the rear seats there, that blue glowy thing right there.
Yep.
Between the seats. That's a 115 volt plug. So you can plug anything in. You can plug a fridge or a stove or anything. It'll do 3,600 watts.
The air fryer going, getting the chicken ready for when you get
could.
home.
Absolutely, you could. Yeah. And there's also a little plug that you can plug into where you plug the car in.
Yep.
That's a vehicle to load adapter as well. So you can be out camping and you can still have a TV and
take this down to watch one of the starships go up and get the air fryer going. And
there you go. Yeah, I mean, you could have your air conditioner running, right? Because again, it'll do 3,000 watts there. So that's all of your standard EV stuff there. Not super exciting. Phone, Android Auto, it's all wireless, blah blah blah, which is a nice step up from the previous IONIQ 5 where it was a wired connection and again a bit annoying. Vehicle diagnostics and maintenance is just your standard stuff. I can have it tell me that it's happy with me. And it does a self-check. It also emails that to the Hyundai mothership or the dealer to let them know if it's having a bad day. Right now, it's having a good day, which is great. That's what we like to see.
The more good days, the better.
Yeah. Online manual. I don't think it has the manual here. It has a QR code that you can scan, and then it shows you the manual. Blah blah. So all that stuff, whatever it is what it is. The fun stuff is right, and you can change your screen layout. Actually, this is kind of cool. The screen layout is here, so you can have classic, you can have simple gauges, or why isn't it doing it? Why isn't it changing? Oh, right, because I'm in custom mode. So I have to go back to.
You're in custom mode.
Sorry, I will go back to sport mode. How do I do that? There we go. Okay, so classic is our gauges where it's just power and our speed. Simple is even simpler.
I like the simple.
Then N mode is your G meter there, and your range, and then all your temperatures there, and all this stuff. So whatever, sure, we'll keep it simple for you. The graphic style, it's basically just different colors on your graphic style that you can change, or you can link it to your drive mode as well, so that when you go between. So this is your drive mode. That's your Eco. You can tap it. So Eco mode is Eco, normal, and sport. Eco disables the front motor so that you drive on the rear motor, so you get better mileage. It also reduces the air conditioner. Normal is normal, and then sport. Normal is the rear motor until you stomp on it, and then you get the front motor as well. And then sport mode is both motors all the time, and then you just get worse efficiency, but you save the 1/10 of a second for when you decide you need to go really fast. Other stuff, let's see. We can change the heads-up display there. We can show the various things. We can turn it off. I can choose what goes on the heads-up display, driving assistance info, your media. So when we're playing songs and stuff, I don't know if is the HUD. Okay, let's skip to the next song and see. Does it show the album art?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of cool. So that
that's super cool.
It gives you. It actually, like, when I look at it through my regular eyeballs, the album art looks like it's 3D or something in the little heads-up display.
Yeah.
It's got this kind of cool effect. Sure, you can do all that stuff as well. This little dot, this is the aftermarket thing for the subwoofer in the back. I can control the bass. Other stuff is just, like, again, a dizzying array of
kind of like a blank canvas.
Little tweaks. It really is.
You can buy the cool sport model and have a really cool economic car.
Yes.
Or you can turn it into a full-blown race car.
Exactly, with N mode and play with all of these different selections that really add just a whole whack of
I'm glad they have a tutorial, because
yes, yeah, right.
Most people get in this and be like, wow,
because like there's so much stuff, right, that you can do within N mode. And grin boost, again, is the red button, blah blah blah, and active sound, blah blah. So yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming, or you can just ignore the whole thing and be like, I'm going to put it in drive mode and just drive it like a car.
Yeah.
And then it's just a car.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of where we're at.
So
what
cool.
other stuff? So normally there's a cover here, but in the regular Ioniqs, there's a dash cam called a fit cam, and it's integrated into the plastic cover here.
Okay.
And I took my old fit cam from my old Ioniq, and shit, it wouldn't fit because this cover here is 2 centimeters too big. So I emailed fit cam and said, when are you going to build one for the end? They're like, well, we don't have a cover for it. And so if you mail us ours, we will pay the shipping and we'll refund your previous fit cam and we'll give you a new one.
Okay, because the car's so new, you're doing some R&D for them.
Exactly, yeah. So my
nice.
That cover is in China right now. It arrived there 2 days ago. They're 3D scanning it, and then they'll throw the guts in, and then they'll give it back, and then I'll throw that in.
Pop it all back in.
Yeah, and then the dash cam is totally integrated into it, so there's no wires or anything like that, and you have the full thing. It's just my little nerd triumph. I'll go back to media so we can have the map.
Supporting the enthusiast industry.
There, I prefer. I like Waze, but it's Android Auto, so you can use Google Maps.
Right.
There's various chargers.
I actually really like, because I've been in a few other new vehicles, trucks and all that, and a lot of them are going to the vertical screens.
Yeah.
They really suck. So the GPS is so small because it's like being on a 7-inch screen because it's chopped up into the different layers. It won't do the whole thing. Whereas this will go widthwise, so you actually get a bigger screen, even though you don't have, because like what's the Tesla, like up to here?
Yeah,
but the GPS is almost the same
and
because of how it's set up.
And then the HUD definitely is within eyesight, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're driving around.
The HUD is
well.
life.
So, it really is. You know, I love it. I use it a lot more than I thought I would. Well, I use it all the time, and frankly, I'm not comfortable without it now. I've grown to rely on
the Camaros had heads-up display, and
gotcha.
I was like, I don't know why it's not standard.
Should
get pulled over by a cop. Do you know how fast you're going? Well, you should, because it's in your eyeballs.
So here's the thing: the U.S. model doesn't have a HUD.
Really?
The U.S. model gives up the HUD, and the U.S. model, this thing will park itself as well. So I'll show you that here. So it's got this 3D view and blah blah blah, all this stuff, right? So so this is the actual cameras, like the cameras all around the car doing this, and I can do remote parking assist here, where it'll park itself. It'll also take itself out of a parking spot. You can either be sitting in the car or you can be standing outside the car. It does all this stuff. The U.S. model doesn't have that, and again, they give up the HUD.
Is that all regulation?
That's to save money, because the tariffs on imported cars into the U.S. are so high that to achieve their price point, they had to give it up. All the U.S. Drivers are pissed because it's a really good piece of technology that they're giving up.
Because they go to Hyundai.ca and see what we're getting, and they're like, wait.
And the Europeans, well, the Koreans, right? The Koreans have a digital rear view mirror where there's an extra camera that displays it here, so that you can have people sitting in the back seat and it doesn't matter.
Or a box moving stuff.
And they also have cameras here that show the side mirror. So the side mirror is a little camera instead of this big thing, which is less drag. It's more efficient for EVs. You get more range that way.
With the same outcome.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it's better because it's less likely to get fogged up and covered in snow. It's just a cleaner, more consistent image.
Yes,
but they won't give us that because of regulations.
Yes, because of Canadian regulations. They're archaic
as
well.
It's good to know. Our government's keeping us safe.
There you go. There's no frunk in this model. The regular Ioniq models have a frunk, but this motor is too big. There's too much motor for a frunk in this, so it's just got
I'd also assume there's more cooling and just more stuff going on to make it all work as it works.
Yes. The front motor. So there's a Hyundai and Kia and Genesis are all owned by the same parent company, and so Hyundai and Kia are pretty much brother and sister. Genesis is the luxury line of Hyundai and Kia, and the front motor is the rear motor from a Genesis GV60 just flipped 180 degrees, and it's there. So they swap parts back and forth. But that's what this motor is.
Develop one good motor, use it.
Yeah, there you go. So let's take it for a rip. And,
that way is construction.
All right, well, let's go the other way.
Brake feel is spectacular. It's not short, it's not long, it's not grabby, it's just...
There you go. You can control the level of regen with the paddle shifters when you're driving, and if you tap the right one, it lowers the regen. It'll go. That's the left one. You're in iPedal now, where that's level 3, level 2, level 1, and there's less regen with each one. In iPedal mode, which is the full left paddle, the car will come to a complete stop with
one
regen.
pedal driving.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about.
Wow.
So
ways before crossing.
there you go. So you can tap the drive mode and throw it in sport mode just so it's available. And you'll feel the difference in the accelerator pedal. Basically, if you throw it in eco mode, you have to push down with your foot more in order to get the same level of speed.
Level 1 is kind of normal combustion engine regen. Nothing's abnormal or more or less. It kind of coasts the same. It kind of does the same. Yeah, and a lot of this car is to appeal to internal combustion engine aficionados and to make them feel comfortable and happy. Isn't that cool? Yeah, smart, right? Again, it's also where it's located.
Yeah,
it's very intuitive.
Right in your field of vision. Yeah, makes sense to me.
It's all about being intuitive, right? Yeah, well, if you didn't tell me there wasn't a motor, I wouldn't have known.
Well, we will. It's quiet too. I'll turn the climate off here, so you can be whispering and stuff.
No, talk, enjoy.
I know, but I'm saying it's we have it's just very, very quiet as well.
Wow, it's like 1% throttle. You're like.
Oh, again,
where are the cops? Oh, there's police station.
There was one right behind us. Or the way we turned out, maybe they went the other way.
Yeah, they always go left. They pull out of here and they do the back.
Gotcha.
Back loopy.
Yeah, now I try to time it so that a yellow light, I'm not going to speed through. I'm going to stop, so I'm first at the lights and then and go, because it's
one of the only legal times you get to enjoy 0 to 60 kilometers an hour.
Exactly.
I miss heads-up display.
Yeah, it's pretty great. The car will also beep at you if you indicate a lane change and there's a car next to you. It'll go. It'll let you know I'm not entirely happy with the idea, which is great. Again, it's got a ton of safety systems. If it thinks that we're going to rear end that car, it will. That's nothing. That's nothing, dude.
I know. It's been a while.
I get it. Right.
I've only been doing 44 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3 weeks.
Right. Yeah. This is faster than that.
That was 60 to 80 in
it'll do 80 to 120 in 1.5 seconds. In 1.5 seconds. It's nuts. So again, it doesn't slow down even when you're in license takeaway territory. It just goes all through the climate.
Also, really impressed with the seats.
Yeah, right. They're snug. They're comfortable. They hold you.
I have a fairly large upper body from all the working out and stuff, and I find a lot of the sporty seats, I'm either sitting in front of it, or it's a big bucket, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I could sleep in this thing. But this is the right in-between, where it would fit a large variety of bodies.
Yep.
And everybody's happy. Nobody's has really any reason to complain.
I concur.
Very impressed.
What other stuff will we throw the map back on? And why does it? Let's see. I think is your foot on the accelerator when you're doing that, or is it from the brake? I forget why it doesn't. So we're at level 0 now.
On the brake,
so there's no regen right now. So this is our level of regen there. So it'll just coast now rather than regen. Regen in EVs is. In city driving, you recover about 40% of the energy that you expend. So regen is huge in city driving in terms of extending your range. On the highway, not so much, because you're generally driving at constant speed. But on the city, you get back just a ton of the energy that you put out. Which
it's probably the first EV I've driven to that has an actual coast.
Yeah.
Most of them don't have coast as an option. It's always regen. It's how much regen. But to be able to coast, if I was on a road trip doing strictly highway, I could see that being nice. Just coasting hills and just giving you that option.
You can also set the regen to auto, and that's when if you have cruise control on and you hold down the right paddle for a couple seconds, it'll go to auto, and then it decides how much regen it needs, depending on the traffic situation and the cars around you. So Other stuff, lane keeping assist is that little one there. That guy's, see, yes, he's triggered.
I bet you everyone's
which is
trying to
fine.
race you. You're gonna have all summer being like, no, like I'm good.
Yeah. Or
no.
or if you want to, you just step on it, and then they're way back in the rearview mirror as well. It depends on if you want to engage them or not. Yeah, this person. See, we're being good ambassadors.
Yeah, I try to be a little neighborly. I mean, they should know to get, but whatever. I just assume nobody's paying any attention ever anymore.
Gotcha.
Nobody knows what a turn signal is or how to let anybody in, so I'm trying to
Yep. Yeah, I get it.
Start a new experience of driving where we're considerate and helpful and understanding. And
yeah, I know
when I'm at home privately.
I pay attention when I'm driving. I'm always worried about the other people who are on their phones all the time, or who just are staring at their fingernails, or maybe not familiar with the particular rules of the road.
Yeah, like what stop signs are, or
yeah, exactly. Well, they
ending.
paid a few $100 and got a license.
I've heard that's become quite the thing.
I have as well, and
disappointed that wasn't an option when we started driving. We had to learn and read a book and.
There you go. Well, I believe it. Oh, well, look, see, we'll be first at the lights now.
Darn it.
So, again, this doesn't have the traction control that the Tesla does, where the tires won't skip at all. If you stomp on it, the tires will skip a tiny bit, and then it's totally solid. So you can be. It's not going to.
Right.
It's not going to do anything scary. It's not going to swap the ass end or anything like that. It's just going to go in a straight line very, very quickly. Which is fun as hell. And then once we do that, then we can get into the paddle shifting, which adds a whole other dimension to the driving, which is just great. I gotta say, I really like it. But we'll try it once with no sound and 0-speed transmission. I guess 1-speed transmission, and
it's the go speed transmission.
and see what that's like there. So that I know what the speed. Yeah, so it'll, if you stomp on it, we'll be at 80 in about 2 seconds, which is fun as hell. But again, just go by your comfort level as well, of course, because you're the one. And we're at 80.
Christ.
And that's 80, right? Like that was right. And and it was silent, right? I mean, we heard the hum of the inverter.
Yeah.
But that's it, right?
Honestly, it's
smooth.
so satisfying.
Isn't it though? I know, right?
Even just that little
yeah,
like it.
Yeah.
It really makes you feel like
yeah. Okay. So do you want to try the paddle shifters? No.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll throw it in. Let's see. And okay. So there we go. Yes. So now we're in third.
There we go. Okay.
And
I
now,
see. It's giving me a tack.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. The fake tack. And it'll bump up against the fake tack limiter as well. You can choose. So we have the sound piped out internally. You can also have it externally as well, so other people can enjoy it. It's not obnoxious when you do it, but it is noticeable.
Interesting. Yep, there it is. Yep.
And you see it's different torque curves for each of the gears.
Man, every time you just blip, you're just like,
yep.
What's this slip? Yeah, there we go. Wow.
It's fun, right? So you can turn regular driving into fun, and yeah. Right? It's like, oh no, it's gonna, yeah, and you go up against it. Remember, there's no actual limit, right? So it's simulating all of that, right? So it's like, we're not. It's which is hilarious. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it really changes the visceral experience of driving it, because let's be real, a lot of times you're driving, you're in normal roads and traffic and nothing's that special, but you can make it.
So
more...
here's our TAC as well. So this is the classic display on the TAC. So you can see where the limiter is at 65 or 6,700 RPM. The fake limiter. Remember, the actual engine will go to 21,000 RPM. So this is entirely it's entirely fake. So if you let your foot off the gas and then downshift, you'll also hear the boom 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 sound as well. The sort of, and it won't let you downshift if you're going too fast for whatever particular speed.
Interesting. It's almost like having a Porsche.
Yeah, it is.
It's
right.
It's like having the PDK.
Yeah, without having to worry about clutch. The clutch.
Yeah.
It's the fake clutch.
Interesting.
And it will drop it to the lowest gear it'll go in. So second, I guess, right now. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
We're not in a 44 horsepower cage. This is fifth gear.
Well, this is right.
We have
And again, this is the simulated 8-speed. I haven't gone fast enough for 8th to make sense yet. But
as long as we are filming, that will remain the story.
No, it's unfortunately still true.
It also changes the throttle feel.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like being in a high gear, it feels gutless.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we both know that if I just put it in auto,
exactly,
it's got as many nuts as
Yeah. If you shift it up to 8th and stomp on it, it's gonna chug.
Interesting.
Because it's modeled the torque curves for it. Again,
so it's not just a full
to make
limiter. It's a full simulated performance driving experience.
Yeah.
Mach-E behind us. He thinks he's king of the road. Sorry, bro.
See, there's the blip as we hit the limiter. Isn't that hilarious? That has that.
And it throttle cuts and everything.
Yeah. It does all the...
it did all the things.
So we'll try Evolution here. So this is their Formula One version of the engine sound.
Not nearly as
they're all
satisfying.
kind of cheesy. I'm agreeing. Supersonic is the jet fighter sound. Which I honestly
I've never been in a plane, so you're gonna have to tell me
it's not that realistic. I prefer the ignition. The sort of classic is the.
I agree. It makes sense because if this was a modified performance vehicle, that's probably where it would be.
Yeah, well, again, this is an Elantra N sampled sound, so that's their other N line. The simulated backfire. Isn't that hilarious?
It even cut it off because I let off the throttle. It gave me all the experience of what I would have anticipated out of a paddle shifter performance combustion engine.
Yeah, I think.
It's just so fast. I don't even know what to do.
They did that just for fun, just to make it fun. There's just to make it more enjoyable. And I love that they spent all that time and effort just to put a smile on our face.
Oh, I don't want to turn into that place. Or is that a street? I don't know where I am.
Oh, okay. I don't know where we are either.
I will likely turn around up ahead.
Yeah, sure.
This is crazy.
It's fun as hell.
Jesus. Control your thoughts. All is good.
This car lets the intrusive thoughts win, and it does it safely. Like it's never out of control as well. The traction control is great. The limited slip differential. It's got a bunch of computers working really, really hard to make sure that we remain safe, and so it doesn't have any bad habits.
Yeah. I would do bad things with this all the time. I would be a horrible human being and nobody would like me.
No, but that's the thing, externally, the engine sounds aren't obnoxious either. So we're not pissing off the neighbors here, right? Remember, the vast majority of the sounds are piped in just for us. And above 72 kilometers an hour, there's no engine sound outside because the sound, the wind noise, blah blah blah, is loud enough that
so it just cuts it off.
Yeah, exactly. So
that is so interesting.
We're not obnoxious. We're just. It's just hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun little toy. It is. So, and it's the performance now that you get for the price. I mean, this is $79,000 for this, but my Tesla was $180,000, and this is 0.1 second faster to 100, and it's got similar range.
Right.
And it's fun. And if I want, I can turn off. And the Tesla was great in a straight line, but it handled like a fucking ocean liner in curves. This handles amazingly well on windy roads. In fact, it will tell you if it sees a bunch of curves up ahead. It'll ask you if you want to put it in N mode, and tighten up the suspension and the steering and stuff, because it handles like it's on rails. It's
so cool. Like I'm learning to drive manual right now, so like it's
right.
It's all like, I like this. This makes sense to me.
Yeah, there you go. Right. You've got the manual in the car. Well, this just dispenses with the clutch. It makes it easy.
Yeah. You definitely don't have to worry about stalling and looking like a...
Right, yeah, well, it's impossible. I'm glad they don't have that built in. That would be the classic where the car lurches forward.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. God knows I did that enough when I was learning to drive stick as well. Well, having your truck be standard transmission, that's also great anti-theft protection.
Yes.
Because
you got about 20,000 views.
Because few people know that few people are comfortable driving standard anymore. That's not a thing. I had a Honda Civic for a few years, just from 2020 to 2022, I guess, and that was great. I could because I knew it would never get stolen because nobody knows how to drive stick anymore.
In my truck, they'll get in and be like, "Where's the steering wheel? Why is it all go?"
Well, I mean, they can steal it, and they can still be on their getaway drive in 10 minutes, and you can track them down, right? Like, oh, he's over there.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of redlined.
But I want that plywood back in the back. I want all the stuff that it could haul in the back, so I'm gonna go chase him down.
I was like, I think there's a motorcycle behind us. I can hear it.
Well, we can turn up the bass on this and be obnoxious.
No, it's interesting. I can feel a vibration in my foot, like the motor's running, and I'm...
stupid Enterprise guy.
Wow. You're right.
It adds to it. It adds to the fun of driving. It
reminds me a lot of driving Nick's Mitsubishi that he had years ago with the paddle shifter, and it was modified to the hills and all this stuff, and it gives me the same
the same sort of adrenaline rush.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it was fun to drive. It just was not reliable.
All right. Well, this is a car company making EVs rather than a software company making EVs as well. So my previous IONIQ I had for only 8 months before I traded in this, but it was bulletproof. There were no issues. My Tesla, my Model S, I had that in the shop more than 24 times and once one of the wheels fell off. I blew 2 motors out of the thing. The door handles, the trunk, the frunk, all that stuff all broke and none of those were cheap repairs. Thank God most of them are under warranty. But this is Hyundai, who have been making cars for a long time, and the computer systems are new, but the rest of it is tried and true.
Yeah, it's just a car.
Exactly.
Performance-tuned suspension with some electronic dampeners to adjust.
And it's the same guy who was in charge of the BMW M division, who they poached to make the N. Albert Bierman. I don't know the guy's name well enough to, but that's who they got to do it. And they didn't just sort of slap an N badge on this thing. Again, this doesn't share any suspension components with the stock IONIQ 5, and they 42 extra welding points and a bunch more adhesive and blah 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 blah. They did a whole lot of stuff. Exactly. Yes. It wasn't just an afterthought. It was.
It's not that it was a bad vehicle. They just tweak everything to get it from 9 to 10.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they added 7 more kilowatt. They added 10% to the battery pack, which is great. It's the same different chemistry on the battery pack, and it's 32 pouches. So if one cell goes bad, one pouch goes bad, you can throw it out and throw another pouch in.
Interesting.
So the eGMP platform, this basically the battery's under our feet, right? It's like it's a skateboard basically, and it shares this. The Kia EV6, the Genesis GV60, the Hyundai IONIQ 5 are all the same platform underneath with the different shells on top. And the platform is great. It's got the center of gravity of a worm. All the weight is underneath our feet.
You can feel it.
Yeah, and it's evenly distributed.
What's interesting when we took that corner back there off Lakeshore is the car wasn't leaning. The suspension hadn't even been hinted at yet. The car just went, and I was I'm waiting for a little bit of weight lean for the suspension to dampen.
There isn't body roll on this like there was in the Model S. The Model S, again, would be like, oh, we want to turn. Oh, it's like an ocean liner in high seas. But this is rock solid.
You had to give us some advance notice so we could figure it out.
This will do the Nürburgring twice without having to recharge. That's what they designed it for. Is racing, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to take you to the drag strip a couple times till they throw me out, and that's it.
Good, I'll go with you. I'll bring the truck.
Absolutely.
I'll get great shots of you go.
there we go. But that would be an awesome. That would be a great.
I figure if I can run the quarter mile in 22 seconds, it's a performance bargain.
There you go. Well, your truck is a hell of a bargain. I mean, it's different. These are two different vehicles. Like they're designed for two different things. Your truck is as good, or if not better, at what it's designed to do than this is for what it's designed to do.
I agree.
This is the first performance EV, but your truck is a truck. It's a work vehicle that's designed to be practical, and it's so elegant in what it does. It's simple, and everything works. And it was really like, I think the designers of your truck put as much thought into the design as the good folks at Hyundai and Kia put into the design of this.
I agree. They gave it a purpose.
Yeah.
And they achieved said purpose.
Yeah, they're like, okay, what's the philosophy behind this? Let's make it really good in that particular niche.
Do you know what this runs in the quarter mile? It's got to be scary.
I don't know, 11 seconds or so. I think. I honestly, I don't know if that's fast.
Yes.
It is. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, like my experience has been, it just keeps going till you hit 200. Then so the top speed is 265 on this.
My Camaro is ungodly fast at the quarter mile, and it runs 12.4.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Right.
11 is.
Yeah, but it's also EV, right? So the great thing about EVs is you have the full torque from 0 RPM, right? Like
it would probably take me $45,000 in performance mods and tires to catch you, which will put the car in the 140 range.
That's why this car is going to be very popular, I think, because the price at 79 grand, it's steep for, well, it's cheaper than an Audi, it's cheaper than a Porsche, blah blah blah, and you get a hell of a lot of performance for not a lot of money. And what I've noticed online is that there's certainly some snobbery that it's a Hyundai, that it's a South Korean car. They're like, oh, I can't believe you pay that for a South Korean car. I don't care where the car came from. I care about how it's designed, and
I feel the same way about German cars.
And for me, it's good value.
When you go to a German car dealership and it's $200,000, I'm like, I can't believe somebody would pay $200,000 for this.
Right, yeah, and some of that is the badge, on the car, and it's what the salesman can sort of take you for that badge.
Yeah.
As well, I'm
like you spend $200,000, it doesn't come with turn signal stock.
What? Yes, but it comes with the cachet that everybody knows you spent $200,000 on.
Yeah.
As well, and that if that's your disposable income, then you must be really successful at life, and you must have a giant dick and blah blah blah, all that. So that's
all that matters.
So this is it's good value for what you get. And electricity, I mean, this the overnight hydro plan in Burlington, it's 2 cents a kilowatt, so it's just under $2 for a full tank of electrons. Like, that ain't bad when you consider how much performance gasoline costs as well, et cetera, et cetera.
Performance gasoline? My truck. My truck is 33 liters.
Right, so that's
very small tank.
That's like $65 now, $70 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah. So again, this is
spending $70 to go nowhere quick.
This is $2
or aggressively.
And maintenance, there's no oil change, right, on the car or anything like that. You do a brake inspection, but because of regen, the brakes are hardly touched. In fact, what you're supposed to do, best practice, is to turn the regen off once a month and actually use the brakes so that the brake pads don't rust. But in the engine, like the engine itself, 6 moving parts. That's it, 6, rather than a whole bunch in a piston engine. So the reliability inherently is capable of being very high. Service every 12,000 kilometers. One thing that will be expensive though is after a couple of years, you have to service the battery coolant, and you have to buy the coolant from Hyundai, and it's about $1,000. But that's every few years. Other than that, you're looking at, you have to change tires depending on how aggressively you drive. You have to change your brake pads, hardly at all, and then your wiper blades, and that's it.
Wow.
So no, and your air filter from time to time too.
I mean, you're supposed to do brake fluid flushes and all that in a combustion car, and transmission flushes and coolant flushes.
Yeah, there's no transmission, right?
It's the same thing, so you're not really more expensive than a normal car.
Oh God, no.
Even at that, like, let's say fuel cost was the same and everything else. Like, it's, wow.
Yeah, maintenance in an EV is lower than in a gas car. It just is. There's less to maintain. More of the systems are just sealed. Yeah, there we go. So the yellow shows where it wants to go, and the blue shows where it is, and that's it takes some getting used to.
I got you beat in turn radius.
Absolutely.
Full U-turn in 11 feet.
Wow, that's cool. Yes.
Yeah, part of being a cab over, I guess.
That's wild. That's like it's on casters.
Yeah. That's great.